Today we're going to take this tire carrier back bumper hitch unit off and see about putting it on correctly. They've only got 2 bolts on each side holding it on. There's supposed to be 2 here, 2 in here, 2 more there, the 2 they have, and a couple up from underneath. And without them in, yeah, that's not going to work. Hit a bump big enough, I'll be tearing the whole back end off. So before that's an issue, we're just going to take it off and see about beefing up these corners, drill the rest of the holes, get some more bolts mounted up right. First step, we're going to take the tire off. Already found the right socket. Alrighty. I'm guessing this hasn't been off of here since it was put on new. Let's see if we get her. There we go. Oh yeah, that's flat. That would have been useful, having a flat spare tire. Oh well. Alright. This was also assembled incorrectly. There's supposed to be a nylon bushing right here to hold this hinge mechanism up so you don't have to lift this up to hinge it. They've got the nylon bushing on the top instead. So we're going to see about correcting that. The nylon bushings to prevent wear. And you can see out here just how much flex is in the bumper. I plan on towing a trailer with this occasionally. That ain't gonna work. Alright. Find a couple more bolts. I guess I can get a snap ring out of there. Alright, found some snap ring pliers. Let's see if we can get this out of here. Aha. Snap rings off. That's our bushing. If I'm right about this, I may have to loosen these bolts, but I think this will just slide up off of there. Oh, no more done. It's coming. It'll work to a point. Straight up until we got to the hinge. The tailgate. We ran out of room to go up. So that's a bummer. So I guess it's going to come off when the bumper comes off. With this not being solid, this nut on the back bashes into the tailgate with the spare tire bouncing. So that's no good either. Should be about a 3/4 or so metric equivalent. That one back there may give me a hard time, but we'll find out. Oh mine, they're not even tight. Oh my. I'm surprised, but I'm not. I'm going to leave a nut on one of them bolts so we have a hinge point to lay this down. See how tight the ones are on this side. And on this side they sort of end up. Currently the only thing holding that on there is gravity. Somewhat surprising. As far as I know, that's all holding it on there. Let's that move. Yep. Nothing but gravity. The one that I had over here. Alright. Yeah, when you get one of these bumpers, you take the factory bumper off, bolts into right there and down under here. And then you have to use those bolt holes, this bolt hole again. Then you drill two there, which are harder to access. With the body lift, I can get my fingers in there. Without it, you can do it, but it's harder so people don't. Then you end up with dings and a hitch that isn't safe to use. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit. I got to replace these bushings anyway. So with that out of the way, I can do that. All right, while I'm here and I got the tools out, I'm going to make life easier on future lathe. Loosen these bolts up. Basically that puts tension on that to make it swing a little harder. It will also make it easier for the tire to stay open once you attach it. And just like that, that's how that was supposed to go the first time. And with that off, when they were supposed to put this plastic bushing on there, down in, seated down in, and then set that on, that would give you the proper spacing so the latch would operate correctly. But for now, I'm going to put it on there. Put this guy on here just so I don't lose it. So knowing my luck, that's some kind of rare metric oddball size thing that I can't find one. I'll have to buy a whole bumper. That'll make getting the bumper on next time a lot easier without that whole top piece on there. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's been probably 3 weeks since I took the bumper off this old girl. We did a little bit of prep work, get ready to put it back on. One of the problems that it had was there was not a bolt here because it was broke off. I tried to fix it, the bolt just wouldn't cooperate. So we ended up cutting a hole in here, inserting a bolt down through, that way I can put a nut up on it, reinstall the bumper that way. It also made a nice hole to clean out the inside of the frame where they like to rust. So I got to clean out in there, make that nicer. I was going to cap this back off. I think I'm going to leave it open so that if I need to get in there again to do some cleaning and some oiling, I got an access point. This side over here, I think there was the bolt was missing. We found a bolt to go there. Getting it in through here is going to be interesting. We were missing some other bolts. I think I've gathered up enough bolts. So we're going to set this up on mark. We got to drill holes in here, do some marking, and then we'll get to putting her back together. We actually got a warm day to work in here, so that's helping also. Let's get started so we can make some marks. Set that on top of there. This is where it would help to have a friend to help hold stuff, but all I got's me today, so here I am. Also sprayed some paint on this thing. Not on the bumper, but on the back of the Jeep. Cleaned it up and painted her a little bit. Okay, that side's on. And that side's on. Check for left and right. We're flush with the edge of the framework there. This side we're in a 1/2 inch. So we'll see if we can even that out a little bit. This will be about there. About there's even from side to side. This nut down here a little bit. Alright. I have this up in the air so I can get to the sides a little easier, but right now it's not helping me. Alright, we'll go find a paint marker or a scribe and we'll get some marks so we can drill some holes. Alright, so we found our scribe. Basically a dental tool, basically. And we know about where our holes need to be. So we're going to make some marks in here. And hope that we got them right. Now I believe when you get this bumper from the factory, it actually comes with a stencil that you lay across here and makes finding these holes a lot easier. But seeing I got this second hand, I don't have that. Now I'm just making a simple X in the fresh paint. That way I can find it. And once I take this bumper back off, which I'm going to do right now, then I can measure and make sure my heights and everything match, because the holes there are going to match the holes here. It's just the distance across. I could have measured it too, but this was easier. Off camera, took the bumper off, got 2 new holes drilled. Gotta get a couple bolts. And a nut. We're going to try to set this thing back on. We're going to try to put it on loosely because I had an interference issue trying to get the tire rack on it. We'll see if I can get it on loosely and set that on before we do final tighten down. But get the nuts off the bolts so I can use them. Drop a couple up here where they're easy to get a hold of. Once again, this would be a good time to have a helper. I could probably have one in a phone call, but we're going to try to get this done. It's actually decent weather this evening. twister nut go on there. I should have a washer on there too. We'll put it on afterwards. Alright, then this bolt through that hole. A washer. And a nut. Finger tight. Enough it won't fall off. We'll do that a couple dozen more times and we'll bring you guys back. Alright, so upon a little more research, we've got a bolt in here. We got one in the far corner on the other side. And when I went to put the second one in down here, there's enough slop in the holes in the bumper that it made this rock back where I was never going to get the tire rack on. So we've got everything kind of loosely fitted. And before we get ourselves in trouble, we're just going to pull the snap ring off and grab the tire rack and set it down on there. We've got our nylon bushing on the bottom this time before they had it on top. So that should make this all work better too in the long run. So let's see if we can get that up on there. Yep. Now we don't have to worry about that being a problem later. Put the snap ring on so we don't lose it. When we're all done, we'll put a fresh couple pumps of grease in there and tighten these up. You may also actually flip them around the other way so you're looking at the heads of the bolts instead of the nuts. But all right, we got that up on there. Now, we'll start putting bolts in. And seeing there's going to be lots of swearing going on, I'll let you guys sit this part out. While I was off camera, I got these two bolts, this bolt underneath, these two bolts, and the bolt underneath here, all tightened up. We don't rock and roll anymore. It'll clang right here a little bit, but it doesn't hit the tailgate anymore. Now, this does have to bump up on here to latch, but I haven't tightened these bolts yet, so we're going to tighten them up a little bit and see if that helps. And see if I can find the right wrench. Is there any luck that I got the right one? That one's right. That would be a 5/8. I should have a 5/8 laying here somewhere, right there. Apparently, backs are 5/8, fronts are not. So, 3/4. Nope. Like that. 3/4. Well, I'll be back when I find the right wrench. Alright, so for future reference for you folk, 5/8 on this side, or the back side, and the front side is 11/16. Get all our accoutrements put together here. Sure we're in forward gear. Put a little bit of torque on this. More or less I'm going to bring the nuts up flush at the end of the bolt. And then test it. If we don't want to get too tight, we can't swing it. That actually brought this up where it's not dragging anymore. Got a little bit of resistance. Quite a bit better. All right, now we'll go grab a grease gun. We'll give her some squirts. All righty. Grease gun. I'd already cleaned that, so something you definitely want to do in greasing is make sure that the nipple's clean when you start, so you aren't pushing dirt down into it. Well, we're already half a pump and we're getting grease showing. Ideally, normally I would stop there. We're going to swing it open. Give it the rest of the pump. Maybe a little more. Work it a little bit. So you want to get grease all around. Get a little bit more. Push it about there. And that's the rest of a pump. All right. Oh, that's much better. I'll have to clean some of that grease off, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. Alrighty. Alright, we found us a rag. Paper towel, rather. Wipe some of this off. So that I ain't put my hand on it later and getting it everywhere. And that little bit of grease around there that I don't get off will just help it from rusting in the future. Which the way the rest of this vehicle is, that'll help immensely. Alrighty. Now we'll lower her to the ground, find the tire and put it back on. Alright, we're back. We got a tire. Gonna see if we can get it up on here. We've got the right size socket on the gun. We've got lug nuts. And we've got a tire. Now one of the shining moments in this thing was that I had a nice spare tire. I was pretty proud of that. We had a nice spare tire. But the problem with that is it's a nice tire, but for reasons unbeknownst to me, and why they would do that, there's a hole drilled through right here, and there's a hole drilled down through the top of it. Brand new tire, still got the little bumpies on it. Somebody drilled holes in it. And a hole being drilled through right here next to the bead has pretty much made it useless. I'm going to try to patch it up to use it as a spare for now, until I can find a set of tires. But why? Why would you drill a hole in a brand new tire? That's just dumb. And with that, you guys don't need to see me finish putting the spare tire on. It's on there. It's gonna work. And that works much better. Much better. And with that, y'all have a pleasant evening, day, night, whatever it is where you are. And keep out of trouble. We'll see you in the next video. One last thought. Make sure you have a socket that you can take these off in the vehicle if you need it. Because it being there is handy, but if you can't take it off, it's useless. And make sure you got air in it, which is going to be one of my next things. See, and this one ain't leaving the driveway for a couple days. It'll be alright. Alright, later guys.